Yes, we're going to do something about the dreamers.
What does that mean? What are you going to do?
I will work with the Democrats on a plan, and if we can come up with a plan, but the Democrats have made it very, very difficult to do anything.
President-elect Trump says he wants a deal to protect dreamers. These are undocumented immigrants brought into the country as children, and that's despite his plans to conduct mass deportations when he takes office next month. Texas Republican Congressman Chip Roy joins us now from Capitol Hill. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks for being here. So, do you agree with President-elect Trump talking about protections or wanting protections for dreamers? Is that something you would support?
Well, President Trump's well within his rights to, talk about ways in which he's going to try to figure out how to navigate all this to do what he said to the American people he would do, which is secure the border of the United States and deal with the absolute disaster that President Biden and his administration left the American people. 5.5 million people have been dumped into the United States with the abuse and misuse of parole authority and asylum authority. Americans have died from Laken Riley to, my friend Alexis Nuggere's beautiful daughter, Jocelyn Nuggere in Houston, all at the hands of people who were released by this administration into the country. We've got to end it. President Trump is looking for the resources, and the House and the Senate ought to grant him those resources to begin removing these people, secure the border of the United States, and then we can have a conversation about what to do going forward.
But when it comes to dreamers specifically, is that something that you want to see protections for?
I mean, our job right now is to secure the border, is to manage the fact that we've got all of these people that have been released into the United States, including criminals. We have 1.4 million people who have orders of removal, including, by the way, they issued a list today from ICE. You had 37,000 Chinese nationals, 1,700 from Afghanistan on this list of people who have been ordered to be removed from our country, and Biden won't do it. So the first thing we're going to do is secure the border. Tom Homan's going to do that work. We're going to remove people. We'll have a conversation then about what we do, but we need policy reforms too. If we're going to have any conversations about this, we need H.R. 2's core elements to fix asylum, fix parole, fix the unaccompanied children, fix the fact that we have catch and release, and do what we need to do to have policy changes to ensure in the future no president can ever abuse our country like Joe Biden did over the last 4 years.
And Congressman, you're from a border state, obviously, and you've been very vocal about the need for the Department of Homeland Security to preserve records about the border for the incoming Trump team. But I'm wondering, have you seen any evidence that the Biden administration isn't doing this?
Well, it'd be impossible for me to know, wouldn't it? I mean, that's why you issue preservation requests. I'm a former prosecutor. I mean, these are the kinds of things you do when you want to make sure that you've got all of the information so we can assess. And Congress has a duty with oversight to assess what happened here. What did the administration know when they were releasing people to the United States? What did they know about the backgrounds of individuals? When we know Venezuelan prisons were being unloaded and we have criminals coming here and Americans died as a result, there's potential criminal activity if you have people who knowingly released dangerous individuals who were murderers into the United States. We had somebody, by the way, who was alleged to have killed 20 people in his home country who we found in New York who had been released into Texas. This is the kind of thing we need to track, we need to follow, we need oversight, so they need to preserve those records.
And Congressman, President-elect Trump also said that he wants to do away with birthright citizenship. As you well know, this is part of the Constitution. How are you kind of taking that comment? Is that something that Congress could even entertain?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think the president is absolutely correct. We've had this as being a problem for a long time. In fact, a federal judge in Texas just had to deal with a case in which a mother was trying to piggyback citizenship onto the child, which we have evidence that she knowingly came across the border to have the baby in El Paso to get so-called birthright citizenship and then use that to try to get citizenship herself. The judge thankfully said, no, that's not how this works. But we need to end that practice. We have a whole cottage industry in China, Mexico, all over the world with people coming here to have babies to get citizenship. You have to be the child of American citizens to get citizenship by being born. And then if otherwise naturalize. I think we need to make sure that's the law going forward so it can't be abused as it has been over these many years.
But wouldn't that require amending the Constitution?
Well, that is a question that some people have posited, that you would have to amend the Constitution. I don't read the 14th Amendment to demand that you'd have to amend the Constitution that way. I think we could do that through law. But, look, we should move forward, do it by law. And if we need to amend the Constitution, amend the Constitution. But my personal belief is you can do it by law. I believe that's the appropriate standard, that you be a child of an American citizen. And that it not just be that you can be literally driven across the Rio Grande, have a baby, and suddenly get so-called birthright citizenship. I think that's a mistake, and most Americans think that's bad policy.
And Congressman, just quickly, we are up against a deadline for funding the government. Are you confident that the government will remain open, that you will reach a deal?
Well, look, the most important question is that we be able to contain spending. And I think that, the Speaker has been trying to work and negotiate with our Democratic colleagues on the other side of the building in the Senate. I think we're probably going to end up with some sort of a continuing resolution into March, which I normally don't love, but I think kicking this into President Trump's leadership and administration makes some sense, so we can try to get real actual spending cuts and restraints come March. I hope we can. I think a disaster supplemental might ride along with it. I think that should be paid for. The Speaker, I think, is working hard to try to shrink it, but I think it should be paid for. There'll be some disagreement. I won't be able to vote for a bill like that that's unpaid for, but good chance that it moves next week, but we'll see what happens.
All right, we will see what happens indeed. Congressman Chip Roy, thank you so much for your time.